Good morning, everybody. Look, it is such a blessing. Super excited to be here. So, welcome to this morning's impact call, guys. You know exactly how we start these calls off every single morning with gratitude, right? Because gratitude is the seed of growth. It's the seed of abundance, right? So everybody knows how we start these things off. Go ahead and type in the chat box something you are grateful for this morning. All right, let me see if there's anybody here. Let me just do this quick sound check. Make sure you guys are hearing me. Type in the chat box something you are grateful for this morning. And if you can't think of anything, look, the default is the fact that you woke up this morning, right? The fact that you opened your eyes is already a blessing, right? We got Gracie out here, grateful for this community. All right, we got Janai is out here about the storm passing. She is super grateful for that, right? Janice is grateful for her life. We got iPhone, who's grateful for another day, another opportunity, right? Another opportunity to be great, right? We got Mario, Paul being on the call. Thanks, appreciate you, brother. Let's see, Vintage, grateful for my mom and pops. Look, we got all types of gratitude flowing in the chat. It's incredible. It's amazing. People are grateful for life, grateful for family, grateful for this community. It's such a beautiful thing. So appreciate you guys always, good to kick things off with gratitude, because again, gratitude is the seed of growth, right? It's the seed of abundance. And so guys, what I wanted to talk on today is the fact that I'm stealing a page out of Mr. Michael Manuel's book, right? He always says, it's your time, right? It's your time right here, right now. And so what I'm going to be talking about today is stepping into your greatness, okay? And speaking of showing gratitude, I want to thank my brother, Mr. Dante Lewis, who cannot hop on the call, okay? As you guys know, especially from the impact call yesterday, his Wi-Fi is horrible in the brand new house, so the cable man has not been out yet to fix their service. So, he's still getting things corrected, but I am super, super grateful for Dante for being one of the founders of this community and putting this all together, getting these calls set up so that we can, get here and have a place to gather, kick our mornings off the right way. All right. And so it's incredible. And for me, I know the key to stepping into greatness is mindset, right? For those of you following me on Instagram, right? It's the Paul Scott mentality. Why? Because when I had my biggest breakthroughs, it was because of my mentality. And so I realized the importance of the importance of your mindset to your success, right? And so that's what I wanted to talk about today. So many people, I actually posted a story the other day. Speaking of Instagram, I posted a story where there was a dude looking down on a maze, and he was sitting there trying to like plot the course, right? And there was a bunch of dead ends. You know how mazes look, right? There's a bunch of dead ends, and he's sitting there like looking over it, trying to plot the like perfect plan, and he couldn't figure it out. Scratching, dead end. Nope, another one. And he's sitting there forever, and it's literally hours and hours and hours passing by. And the crazy thing is, this is the approach that so many people take to life, right? Because it's not about being perfect when you start. Everybody's trying to find that perfect route. And by the way, before I get into things, I know tons and tons of names on this call. I see people like Bren, people like Mario, people like Janice, right? I know that these are all people that are taking notes. I know they got a notebook out, pen and paper. This is just a morning call, a great way to start off your day. But I know anytime I ever see Mario, he's always got a pen in his hand. Look, note takers are money makers, because at the end of the day, you can get fired up on these calls. You can feel really good and great and tingling when you get off. But at the end of the day, you only retain about 20% of the information that you hear, if that. Right? But the things that you write down, it brings the retention from 20% to around 80%, between 80, 90%, right? So having things written down is key, because that's how you're able to start to implement these things to start to change your life. All right. So definitely, like I said, note takers are money makers. But going back to the thing with the maze, right? So the dude was trying to plot the perfect plan. And so many times in life, we always want to have things perfect right when we start out. But see, it's not about being perfect when you start. It's about getting started so you have something to perfect, right? So let me say that again. we're trying to plot the course to where we want to be. We're plotting the course to our goals and our dreams and the things that we want to accomplish. And we get so caught up in the planning stages. We're trying to be perfect right out the gates, when in reality, it's not about being perfect when you start. It's about getting started so you have something to perfect. See, throughout the journey, you're going to be refined. You're going to be, challenged. You're going to grow. You're going to stretch. And that's just all part of the process. It's all part of the journey. You're going to continue to get better and better and better as you continue to go, right? But you do that. You have to get started first. Right? Just like anything. I mean, when you started reading, you weren't the fastest reader in the world, but as you did it more and more, you got better and better, right? If any of you are athletes out there, right? Whenever you started with your sport, your first day on the court, your first day on the field, your first day touching the mat, whatever sport you're on, you weren't the best, right? But from day one to whenever your career ended or wherever you're at today, I know that your skill has improved. Why? Because you did it on a daily basis. You started the journey and you began to get better and better and better, right? And so realize that, guys, step one to stepping into your greatness is getting started, right? Implementation. You see, the speed of your success is directly correlated with the speed at which you implement the knowledge that you have. Okay, the speed of your success is directly correlated with the speed at which you implement the knowledge that you have. If you just keep it up here, if you read a ton of books, you get on these calls, you get a ton of knowledge and things that can change your life, and you're just holding it in your head, then cool. I mean, it's what? Bar trivia, right? You know, those games that they play at the bars when they're shouting out random questions and you just know all the answers. You just got it all done, right? Pub quizzes. Right? That's cool. If you can win a pub quiz, that's awesome. But I'd rather you change your life and hit your goals and live the life of your dreams than you just being a winner at pub quiz. All right. And so, again, implementation is how you change your life. All right. It's all about the journey. All right. So here's the second thing. You need to evaluate your circle. Okay, it's the law of association. Okay, here's the biggest thing of how you step into your greatness. Okay, you have to evaluate the people that you associate with. See, the 5 people that you spend the most time with are the 5 people is basically like the average of you, right? It's called the law of the lid. Okay, you can only go as high as your influence circle will take you. Now, imagine this, guys. If I have a big glass of water, right? I have like a bucket of water, and then I take 5 golf balls and I just drop 4 golf balls in. They're regular golf balls, no big deal, no problem, right? That 5th one though, before I drop it in, I take a paint bucket, right? And I just slather paint all over that golf ball, and then I drop it in. What's gonna happen? As that 5th golf ball sits and floats in the water, what's gonna happen? The water is gonna start to wash off the paint. Right? The water is going to start to wash off the paint, and the paint is going to dirty and muddy and fog up the glass, right? And the longer that it sits there, the more paint that's going to come off of that golf ball. The more paint is going to fog up that water, and it's going to get murkier and murkier, and soon I'm not going to be able to see through it. And the law of association works the same way in your life. That toxic person that is in your life, they are literally that golf ball sitting in your clear glass of water, okay? Because the paint, the negativity that is on them is slowly, the longer that they stay in your circle, that negativity on them is going to start to seep off of them and slowly start to muddy your water. It's going to start to cloud your brain. It's going to start to infect you, and you are literally going to hold yourself back. See, the law of association, like I said, you're the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with, and the 5 closest people, the 5 people around you can drown you, or the 5 can bring you alive, right? The 5 can bring you alive. The 5 can help you thrive. All right, the 5 people around you are either going to drown you, or the 5 people around you, the 5 can bring you alive. Okay, the 5 can help you thrive. All right, so the law of association is extremely, extremely important. All right. And here's the last thing, or one of the last things of stepping into your greatness. All right. You have to look inwardly. Okay. You have to, do you believe that you have what it takes? Look inwardly. Do you truly believe that you have what it takes to be great? Do you believe that you have what it takes to hit those six-figure goals, those multiple six-figure goals, those seven-figure goals, those eight-figure goals, wherever you want to get to in your life, the things that you want? When you close your eyes and you dream about the possibilities of where you could go in life, like, do you believe that that is a reality for you? Do you? Because belief is everything. And here's the question I'll ask you. If you truly believe that those things are possible for you, or even if you don't, maybe you're questioning. If you are questioning, why are you questioning it? Let's dig into the psychology behind why you believe or don't believe that you can or can't get the things that you want in life. See, a lot of times, and I know I did this myself, I used to believe that becoming a six-figure earner was something that I had to do because it would prove my worth, right? It would prove the value. Because here's the thing, right? When you raise your skill set, when you raise the value that you bring to any organization, then obviously you raise your income, right? Just like a job, right? You work hard, and then eventually the job's going to take notice, and they say, hey, cool, we're going to give you a raise. Right? Well, the same thing in business. Hey, you work your business hard enough, then your profits are going to grow, right? Like there's always a correlation between your skill set and your income level. And so for me, I've used to think that becoming a six-figure earner mean that I had finally made it. I had finally became the person that I needed to become, right? It finally, like, it was almost like validation for the value that I knew I had. And here's the reality. You're already good enough. You already have what it takes. You are already valuable. See, it's not the numbers in your bank account that determine your worth. It's not how much money you have available to you right now in this moment that says, how much you're worth. You have intrinsic value. Intrinsic value means there is nothing in this world that can ever take away the value of you, right? Let me give you an example. If I pull out $100 bill, if I crumple it up, you still gonna want it? Yeah, it's still $100. Let me get some numbers in the chat. Let me get a 222 if you would want this $100 bill if it's crumpled up. Is that still something somebody wants? All right, Gracie wants $100. All right, Harrison wants $100. All right, I guess it's just me, Gracie, and Harrison. I don't know. Y'all sleeping, I guess. Look, people on this call. Oh, all right, we got a couple people. We got Nick. All right, Sophie, Cap. All right, Maria. All right, awesome. So some people alive in this chat. All right, some people would like $100 even if it's crumpled up, right? All right, cool. Are you still gonna want the $100 if I step on it? Let me get a 111 if you would still take that $100 after I crumpled it up and stepped on it. Let me get, all right, one, Gracie, Teresa. All right, awesome. Vlad, cool. So you still want it after I crumpled it up and stepped on it? Wow. All right, what if I like put a little rip in it? Not ripping it in half total, but just a little tiny rip. Are you still gonna want it? I still see the ones flowing. Look, you guys get it. Look, crumpled up, stepped on, little tear in it. It doesn't matter. Why? Because the $100 is still $100. I could take it to the grocery store and it still spends the same. It has intrinsic value, and it's just like you. Regardless of the numbers in your bank account, regardless of if you hit those six figures, multiple six figures, seven-figure goals, guys, you have value. You have value. You are God's highest form of creation. And I say this every single time because look, the word God is always coming out of my mouth because I know that all the gifts and blessings in my life are not from me. I'm nothing special. Everything is God's work. And so I have to say this every single call because I know not everyone on this call is a Christian. And most of the people in the impact community are, but some aren't. And it's okay. Look, regardless of what you believe, maybe you're atheist, maybe you're Jewish, maybe you're Muslim, regardless of where you believe, when I talk about God, it's not me trying to stand up here and be a preacher. It's because I realize that the blessings and gifts that have been brought into my life do not come from me. And so for myself, before I really dove into faith, before I became, full on and consider myself a Christian, I was kind of like in that, I was in that agnostic space. And why I started to plug into my pastor is because I could listen to the lessons he was teaching. And regardless of the Bible verses, like there was just so much value. I could take 5 pages of notes and not have a scripture in my book, but I can take 5 pages of notes because of the value. And so I challenge you guys to do the same thing. All right, it's not like I'm up here preaching and trying to get everybody to convert, but just take the value in the information for the value in the information. All right. So with that being said, realize that you're God's highest form of creation. You were meant for greatness. All right. He wouldn't put anything on this earth if it didn't have a purpose. You have a purpose. And regardless of where you're at in life, regardless of what's going on right now in your current today situation right now, regardless of what you have in the bank account, what your house looks like, what kind of house, what kind of car you drive, you have value. All right, so you were meant for greatness. So I challenge you to step into your greatness and implement the information that you've been, that we've been talking about over these calls for the past couple of weeks. The information that was on this call today, start to implement these things into your life. Right? Go ahead and evaluate. Have I started my journey to success? Have I, gotten and stepped into the maze and started to navigate, or have I been just caught up in the planning phases? Right? Have I been caught up in the planning phases of trying to figure things out, trying to get things perfect? Right? Evaluate your circle and remove and cut out those negative people from your circle. Right? And then realize and believe your greatness. Okay. And here's the thing: when you're trying to talk about believing in yourself, believing in your greatness, ask yourself, why don't you believe? If you don't believe, ask yourself, why don't I believe in it? Right? What's holding me back? What is the thing stopping me from saying, yes, you're right, I do have this intrinsic value. Yes, I am a six-figure earner. I deserve that. I deserve multiple six. I deserve seven-figure. I deserve to live in the house that I want to live in, drive the car that I want to drive. Why do you not believe that these things are possible for you? Well, number one, like I talked about with the paintbrush, right? The golf ball. People's negative attitudes or the people around you, their negative attitudes are seeping into your thought process. Because guess what? If someone doesn't believe that something is possible for themselves, guess what they're going to do? They're going to tell you that you can't do it. Why? Because it's much more easier for me to go and look at Janice and tell her that she can't do it, that she's not worth it, rather than admit that Janice is better than me, right? Because if she can achieve it, if she can do it and I can't, then that means she's better than me, right? Well, that's not going to happen, right? So now I got to go and make sure that Janice knows that she can't do it. Because if she does it, then that makes her better than me. Again, the law of association. If you're thinking about the 5 people that you spend the most time with, if you go out and tell them, hey, I want to drive this car. Hey, I want to be making this amount per month. Hey, I want to do this. I want to do that. And you speak life over your dreams. You speak life over your vision and where you're going. Are those people going to tell you, yes, you can do it? Are those people going to lift you up and say, it's amazing, of course you can do that, let's get this done? Or are those people going to tell you to be realistic? Are those people going to say, come on, man, are you serious? How are those people going to react to your dreams? And here's another thing. Sometimes we base our futures and where we're going and what we're worth and where our value lies. Sometimes we base those things off of what's happened to us in the past, right? So, hey, I've never made more than $20,000 a year. How am I going to make $25,000 a month? I'm a slow reader. How can I graduate college? Look, my parents aren't rich. How can I go and break that curse of poverty for our family, for generations to come? How are any of these things? No one's ever done it before. And so you start to shape your belief based off of what's happened to you in the past, instead of, again, realizing your intrinsic value. A lot of you that know me well know that I planned on becoming a police officer before I really dove into entrepreneurship and really launched this business with impact. Right? I planned on being a police officer. And so I call this your cop story. What is your cop story? Well, what's a cop story? What happens if I'm in my car and I'm driving to the grocery store and I'm speeding a little bit? What happens when those police lights flash in my rearview mirror? I got to pull over. And so instead of going to the grocery store, that is the dream life. That is your dreams, your goals, your aspirations, your dream income, your dream car, your dream house. If you have started on the journey, so you're in the car on your way to your dreams, goals, and aspirations, and then your cop story, right? Those police lights start flashing. What happens? Well, now I got to pull over. I'm no longer on my way to the grocery store. I'm no longer on my way to my dreams, goals, and aspirations. And so what is your cop story? That's when in the back of your mind, my parents aren't rich. How can I become rich? I don't have a college degree. How can I ever be successful, right? Because we're taught that a degree equals success, right? A degree is the key to getting your dream life, right? I've never made more than $10,000 a year. How am I going to make $10,000 a month? I've never made $20,000 a year, 40,000, 60,000, 70,000, 100,000. I've never done it before. How am I going to put this stuff into my life? Those are the cop stories that we insert into our life. Those are the cop stories that cause us to pull over on the road of our dreams, goals, aspirations, the things that we're headed to in life. Those cop stories are holding us back. And so how do we turn off those sirens? How do we end these cop stories so that we can get back on the road? How can we start to move forward? You realize that, again, you have intrinsic value, and you realize that where you've been does not determine where you are going. All right. And here's the second thing for you upping your belief. Okay. You have to refuse to accept the life that was given to you. You have to refuse to accept the life that somebody else carved out for you. Someone else's dreams, goals, and aspirations. Someone else's vision of what's possible for them. And now they've implemented that and inserted that vision into your mind. You have to rebuke. You have to rebuke that vision. You have to refuse to accept someone else's limitations that they put on your life. You have to accept that you were meant for greatness. You were meant for a breakthrough. You have value to bring to this world. And how do you accept that? You think about the people. Think about this. Think about the people in your life who will suffer because you don't hit your goals. Think about the people that you love that will be driven into poverty because you're not living up to what you were meant to do. You are not living up to your greatness. Your mom working until the day she dies, never having to get to enjoy the retirement. Your kids growing up in a bad neighborhood, fearing for their lives to and from school, sitting in school, when drugs are going on and they're in a bad environment. Think about your family. Think about the people that you care about. All of them have to suffer because you made the decision to cop out. You made the decision to play it small and not live up to your greatness. That's bull. You were meant for so much more. Nobody in your life should have to suffer because you're playing small. It's your time. You were meant for greatness, and you have to make the decision to step into it. All right. Look, I see in the chat box people saying preach, people screaming. I see fire emojis. Look, I appreciate the love, guys, but this is so serious. I had to hop on here and just be hot with you guys. Okay, humble, open, and transparent. I had to share and give away some of these keys because these were some of the things that amounted to the biggest breakthroughs that I've ever had in my life. And let me share with you this story because, again, sometimes we can get caught up looking at Dante's success, looking at my success, looking at Calvin Frazier, some of the leaders, the epitome of this impact community, some of the top influencers. Jason is another one as well, looking at the success created by the top pillars of this organization, of this community, and saying, wow, look at these guys. Like, it's just incredible what they've been able to do. Guys, realize that we're nothing special. And you can't compare where you're at in your journey. You can't compare your chapter 2 to our chapter 22. Look, it took me 8 years of network marketing before I ever made a substantial income to be able to pay the bills and be able to live off of. And not only have I been able to pay my bills through, through the impact community, through this opportunity, through my work ethic, but I've been able to pay my mom's bills. There's been times where she's been strapped. She's been stressed about money. I said, Mom, don't worry about it. I got this. Mom, don't worry about it. I'll pay. My car's already on. I got it. Don't worry about it. You're good. No matter what situation we're in, I know that no matter what, we're good because I can always tell my mom, don't worry about it. I got this. Why? Because I believe in my greatness. I know my intrinsic value, and I know for damn sure I will never. I remember I've seen this before. There was a point in our lives struggling for money, and I remember there were bills that came, had absolutely no way of paying them. The lights were about to get shut off. The electric was about to get shut off. The cable, the gas, literally 4 shut-off notices at once. I remember the day, and yeah, I remember the day seeing my mom in tears, looking at these bills because she had no way of paying these bills and everything getting shut off. And it remember to this day, and this was like over a year ago, and it still gets me to this moment. I will never remember that moment. I will never forget that moment of how I felt looking at her face and seeing her cry. I said, never again in my life will I allow this to happen. Never again. That day, I went and plugged in 20 new people into my business. I plugged in 20 new people personally into my business. And then I went to my mom and said, Mom, don't worry about it. I got this. Don't worry about it. Nothing's getting shut off. We're good. That was my breakthrough. I looked at the people in my life who were going to miss out because I decided to play it small. And I said, never again. And so, guys, I know we've been on this call for 30 minutes. We like to keep these impact calls short, but realize your intrinsic value. Step into your greatness and realize that you were meant for so much more. All right. So appreciate you guys. I love you guys. Let me just do this quick update because there were a couple things we wanted to make sure you guys know. So don't forget to plug into the call today with Mr. Stephen Betterall. He's going to go and do the, the forecast call, the exit strategy call at 1 o'clock. So make sure we are plugging into that. Okay. Plugging into Steve Betterall's call, we got the Fortifying Mentorship Call with Mr. Sal Leto and Mrs. Vanessa Leto. Those are always powerful. More mentorship. All right, we kicked off our days amazing with this incredible morning impact call. Let's keep it running, keep it rolling with our mentorship call with Sal and Vanessa at 4 o'clock. Then we have our opportunity call for you guys to be able to plug guests into this impact community, and they can learn about how we're helping people change lives, how we're helping people step into their greatness, how we're helping people realize that intrinsic value and change their lives. All right. You guys have the cure. Like Jason said on the call last week, right? You have the cure to COVID. It is your responsibility to disperse it to people. It's your responsibility to give it out. Same thing. We have the cure to poverty. We have the cure to help people step into their greatness. So it's your responsibility to go out and share that with people. All right. So make sure that we're plugging people into this 9 o'clock opportunity call tonight, and the details for the impact retreat are going to be dropping within the next day or two. Dante's going to have, flyers made up, brochures. You're going to get the pricing, where to send the cash out for your deposit, all that good stuff, all the details. We got so much more coming. So excited for everything we got going on here. Guys, thank you so much for hopping on this call this morning. I hope you guys got some value. I hope that you go and implement some of this stuff into your life and have your breakthrough. With that being said, guys, I love you. Looking forward to the next call. I'll see you guys on the other calls today. Peace out.